Hey, this is Rob Yagi with InvestorRabbit.com. Today I'm going to bring you a case study of a website I stumbled across while I was working on my Investor Carrot review. Now, Investor Carrot is a website platform for real estate investors, and the customer I stumbled across is doing a great job with real estate. It's a person that's been in business for over 15 years, and you can see they've got a fantastic website here. But they are actually at risk of losing their domain name, and that's the purpose of this case study, as I want to show you what's going on, and you'll want to learn by example watching this video rather than have this happen to you. We go to pittsburghpropertyguy.com, and notice I didn't even say www, but that's the issue. If we go there with the W's, it works, and without the W's, it does not. That's common. A lot of times people don't realize that that is truly two different websites, and you've got to configure it properly for it to come up under both. Let me just show you quickly from my demo website with Investor Carrot how that's supposed to work. So here we go to onrabbit.com with the W's, and it brings up the website. If I were to remove those W's, press enter there, you see that I've got it configured to where it will go back to the website. And now it's possible that you forget to do the step that's needed there. So here's another Investor Carrot website. This is leasingtobuyhomes.com.au. So this is over in Australia. So I'm going to remove the W's on this one, and you'll see that it can't find that server. So this one definitely is not configured properly. And sometimes you may actually have it configured properly at the top level. I'm going to take you to one more example before we get into the Pittsburgh Property Guy. So if I go to totalviewhomes.com, and you'll see that one actually did work. It took me to the www version. But if I go to their contact page, where we've gone a little bit deeper into the website, and I take the W's off, there, it didn't work there. So they have it working at the top level, but not as you go down to the deeper levels. So is that a big deal? Well, it's probably not a huge deal, because if I were coming to the website and it wasn't able to load, most likely as a user, I'm going to realize that it's an inconvenience, but I've got to type in those W's. So you might not lose a whole lot of traffic over that. And anybody that came to you from the search engines is not a problem at all, because the search engine has indexed the working version of the site. So what's interesting is when we go to Pittsburgh Property Guy, his issue is even bigger than just the site not coming up. So if I go onto Google and I search for We Buy Houses Pittsburgh, you'll see Pittsburgh Property Guy as the second result. Excellent position. And the first result there is not a very good website. It's just a lead capture form, but there's not a whole lot there. So more than likely, most of the visitors are going to end up at Pittsburgh Property Guy. They've done an excellent job getting free traffic. You see the next competitor, iBuyPittsburgh.com. That's also a pretty good position for that one. If we were to search on Sell House Fast Pittsburgh, the same order for the first two. So Pittsburgh Property Guy is looking great. Now the next one, the iBuy Pittsburgh, it does not appear in that results, but you'll see that they are actually doing paid click advertising over here. So being up there in this area is worthwhile to them to be paying for their clicks. That's probably not a cheap click there either. So we see that Pittsburgh Property Guy definitely is doing a lot of things right. I'll bring up their website. They've got an excellent website. Definitely lead capture. They've customized it. They have lots of properties on here. So what's the big deal? Well, when I took away the W's, here's the big deal. As you'll see, today is August the 7th. So when I pull it up without the W's, I actually get a GoDaddy parking page, and it says that this domain expired on June the 30th. So 38 days ago, this domain name expired. And what you need to understand is when your domain name expires, you actually have a grace period and a redemption period. But if you let it go beyond that, you will lose your domain. GoDaddy will be happy to sell that to the highest bidder. What I was able to do was go to the Who Is on GoDaddy, so who.godaddy.com. I entered pittsburghpropertyguy.com, and I was able to find out the information of who owns this. All right, so you can see right here that it definitely expires on June the 30th. I was able to pick up the phone and give Chris, the owner, a call. I left him a voicemail, so hopefully he gets it in time to address this. What happens with an expired domain, with GoDaddy at least, you can go and you can take a look at what they do. And they're going to send you emails and give you a chance to renew even if your renewal didn't go through. So let's say you've got it set on manual renewal and you forgot, or let's say your credit card that was on file has expired and that payment did not go through. GoDaddy is going to park your website. So that's what they're going to do, is bring up that parking page, and it's going to say that the website is parked for free, and that should be a a way for them to get your attention that you better go in and renew your domain name. Well, the interesting thing here is with Investor Carrot, you set up CNAME records to point your website over to Investor Carrot. Well, by parking the main website, that did not remove the CNAME record, didn't interfere at all. So Chris's website is working just perfectly right now, even though it's expired, if you add the W's. So his email's still working. His website, the way that it's under normal use, is still working. So he probably has not seen that notice that his domain name has expired. Now, it's also quite possible that the email address that they have on file is one that he's not checking, or isn't valid information. So GoDaddy has gone through these standard steps, and part of their standard procedure is they'll put your domain name up for auction. And if on day 43, that if someone has purchased your domain name, it will no longer be yours, and that's when your website will definitely stop working. But by then it's too late. Someone else owns your domain name. So we're at day 38. I'm going to reach out to Chris again today, see if I can get a hold of him just to make sure. He'll probably still be able to keep this domain name. He'll probably have to pay some extra redemption fees and go through that process. I don't know what happens if it's already been put up for auction. Anyway, just wanted to give you a quick case study on what can happen if you don't properly renew your domain name. And in this case, there was it was masked, so it wasn't obvious what was going on. And just by pure luck, I stumbled across it in time and realized what was, how big of a deal this is. For those of you that are with Investor Carrot and you've got that problem where you haven't followed that last step to make everything forward, which that was the original problem I was looking at. If you go to the Investor Carrot website and click on support, then click on getting started and using a custom domain name, you'll see that Investor Carrot gives you the instructions on how to forward your website. What you're going to do is you're going to add a CNAME record, and that's going to take care of the www version. But then here's this one other step here. You've got to redirect the version without the W's to go to your site, and that's using domain forwarding. So there's a lot of customers that are going to miss this step initially, and you might not even realize that you've missed it because you always go to your website typing in the W's, or you get there from a search engine. So if you're an Investor Carrot customer, test your website both ways, make sure that you follow this step. And of course there is a third step here where you go on to Investor Carrot and you map your domain name. You let them know what domain you're using. You're not going to miss that step because nothing will work if you miss that step. But this redirect here, the domain forwarding, double check, make sure your site's configured right and working in that way. All right, I hope this has been a valuable lesson. I hope it all works out great for Chris, and I hope that you keep on top of your domain renewals. Make sure that you make that a priority. I recommend that you just set that up for auto renewal, but you do it annually. That way, once a year, you're seeing it in your email, you're thinking about it, and you're double checking it. So it's just part of your normal annual process. All right, take a look at InvestorRabbit.com. I've got more tips out there on the blog, and I'm building out the full review site. We'll help you get the most out of your InvestorCare website. Thank you.